Hello everyone, I will be talking about a look into basketball, high school, and AAU. Here's my abstract. The Amateur Athletic Union is a sports organization that helps launch athletes into a more competitive level of sports. From the beginning stages of competitive basketball, American culture has determined high school the best way to get you recognized for collegiate basketball teams. While some believe that AAU basketball is more beneficial for the career of an amateur athlete, I will be analyzing both high school basketball and AAU. The main themes that came about from my literature review were the importance of building a team culture and whether AAU basketball is necessary to excel in this field. While conducting my research, I will be hosting 2 interviews to demonstrate the perspective of both high school and AAU basketball and the difference in their sense of their community and culture and difficulty. My introduction. Research has examined the importance of participating in the Amateur Athletic Union, AAU, and whether it's necessary to make it into the National Basketball Association, NBA, or even make it to the collegiate level. Many high school boys participate in both high school basketball or AAU basketball. The purpose of this paper is not to analyze whether high school basketball has more participants than AAU basketball, but whether to analyze if competing outside of your high school league really does give you a better opportunity to get college recognition and does it significantly improve your game intensity. My first literature review will be from the article AAU Basketball, A Necessary Evil by Black. Examine the importance of participating in the Amateur Athletic Union and whether it's necessary to make it into the National Basketball Association, as well as listing reasons why it's both damaging and helpful to participate in AAU basketball as a kid. Black also goes on to relate how race and background can contribute to the experience you get with AAU basketball. Interviews were conducted on 6 professional basketball players from the same NBA team, all 6 coming from different backgrounds and cities, all 6 going through the AAU system. With an ethnography study, Black observed how the different backgrounds of each player affected the way they each experienced AAU coaches, agents, sponsorships, and overall journey to professional basketball. My second literature review is from the article Building Team Culture in Basketball by Willis. Willis conducted research to better understand whether AAU basketball is beneficial when trying to get athletes to a college scholarship. During this research, he questioned why there weren't any academic requirements, if the time and money were worth it, and if participating in AAU basketball developed you into a better athlete or not. Willis interviewed 24 former male and female AAU basketball players between 18 and 35 years of age, as well as making them take Willis's survey. Quantitative methods were used in this study to assess survey results. Willis provides insight on the mechanics of AAU basketball and where he has gone flawed. Not prioritizing education is one of that is mentioned the most. The third literature review is from the article Incorporating High School Recruiting and Statistics and Predictive Models for Collegiate and High School Basketball Success by Dunkley. Dunkley built an environment of competitive coaches and players in Alberta. Dunkley more specifically tries to unpack the idea behind team culture and how coaches can create a strong and successful team while also adding life value to the sport and team. The subjects of this study are 3 expert coaches and 20 competitive amateur basketball players. Interviews were held as well as part of the research being more qualitative research, since Dunkley emphasizes work on observing the creation of the building of a team culture on each team. And my final literature review is from the article AAU Basketball, Participants' Perceptions of Their AAU Experience by Henson. Henson examined the numbers and culture behind the origination of accumulating statistics for both high school and professional basketball. Henson argues that there should be a deeper look and adjustment to how we perceive statistics from high school players. He goes on to use 185 players in his models from ESPN, XPrep, XAAU, all 3 being stat websites. Henson uses quantitative analysis to demonstrate the benefits that would occur if taking high school statistics as seriously as professional athlete statistics. My methodology. Participants. These 2 men played and coached basketball on a team in San Francisco, California. Each team consisted of 12 to 18 players. SI, St. Ignatius High School, basketball team consists of 15 players, and SF Champions consist of 17 players, but only 2 participants were interviewed. Both participants shared an interest and participation on SF Champions, as well as sharing a similar ethnic and social background. However, one participant was significantly younger than the other. My interviews. 2 male participants of the SF Champions Amateur Athletic Union team were interviewed with the intention of discovering whether high school basketball or AAU basketball gives the athletes a better chance at getting collegiate attention, as well as make them a better overall player with a deeper sense of community. The first male participant, Tom, was an 18-year-old senior in high school, while the second male participant, Jerry, was a 50-year-old AAU boys and girls coach with 3 kids. Tom had been playing basketball since the 6th grade and is currently playing on his high school team, as well as on a competitive team in San Francisco, whereas Jerry had played basketball for 10+ years and has been coaching for 6+ years. Both interviews were composed of questions that aimed to analyze the perceptions of both of these men on how AAU basketball and high school basketball have helped them better their basketball career, both fundamentally and logistically. Each interview was then transcribed based on the response of both the participants. My findings. My first finding was with the theme of difficulty. First quote being from Tom, "But with high school basketball, it's a completely different game. You have to plan, know the principles of defense. You have to know the scouts, the players. What are his tendencies like? Does he like to go right or left?" Second quote is from Tom. "You're playing against so many different styles of basketball you aren't accustomed to just one play. Like, I don't know any of the players I am playing with there, but it's full of athletic players who can jump really high or score, but then the next game is a totally different game. It's a fundamental team. They like to play defense." The third quote is from Jerry. "I would say that high school basketball is more of a fundamental game because you have to know more offense and defense and how to play man-zone defense." The theme of difficulty is continued with this quote from Jerry. "AAU basketball is tough, it's competitive. The difference starts at middle school because at school you will be guaranteed playing time. Everyone does. But in AAU basketball, it's strictly about who will make the most buckets." The second theme of my findings is sense of community. The first quote being from Tom. "In high school basketball, it takes more effort, and it's also the community around it. It's a higher stake." The second quote being from Tom as well. "It's always changing, so it's like the culture is when you play with a team for a long time, you become really good friends. My AAU teammates, a good amount of them go to the same high school that I go to, and we are still good friends to this day, and I met them all through AAU." The third quote being from Jerry. "Overall, I would say that both AAU and high school basketball are great programs for kids wanting to play at the next level. It's just important to notice how your kid will thrive in each environment that you are thinking of placing them in." These are my discussions. Findings from the study showed that there was a slight difference between difficulty level of high school basketball and AAU basketball, as well as demonstrating the differences between the opportunities that arise from both. Although being part of these teams was rewarding and an excellent way to get college attention, it was such a big time commitment and a rigorous amount of physical and mental work to push through. The coach and athlete relationship is one that matters the most because the coach will not only push to make you a better player, but will also advocate for you to other coaches and possibly higher level teams. My conclusion and limitations. The main themes that were studied were difficulty level between AAU basketball and high school basketball, as well as the sense of community that is retrieved when participating in these type of level sports. Another being how each level, AAU and high school basketball, can help better your fundamentals and your chances of making it beyond that level. There were numerous amounts of limitations to this study, a few being that I only interviewed males and also that I only limited my research to San Francisco. What I do believe wasn't a limitation but a necessary viewpoint is that for my research I interviewed 2 males from different backgrounds and different ages, yet similar with social and economic backgrounds. These are my references. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.